An important note before we begin. You didn't get a single day off, did you? Not a single moment. The new week rolled around, and you got a full dose of crisis and chaos. It's not just the news cycle. It is quite intentional. They don't want you to calm down and relax like this little guy, or do whatever it is she is doing and just have a relaxing news day. They want your blood pressure up and your emotional stress level spiked. It feeds their agenda. More on that later. At CBS, there is great concern about the tear gas used to repel people from forcibly and illegally entering the country. Their concern would be far more touching were it genuine. ABC is equally active in stirring emotions based on what is transpiring at the border. To be sure, there are tragedies just as there is deception and subterfuge. Welcome to the world of modern news. Here is where my thinking goes. There is nothing of substantive reporting in any of this. The supposed conservatives slant the stories to fire up the right, and the supposed liberals, they slant the stories 180 degrees the other way to rile up the left. There is no objective, thoughtful, well-reasoned analysis of what is going on, no straightforward reporting whatsoever. What there is, we have to call demagoguery. You see, stirring the pot and fueling the fires is not just for politicians. And if you don't think that every thought, word, and message coming from the press is political, then you are not paying attention. When it comes to this border crisis, what they want is chaos. Decoding the Deception called that out weeks ago in our video, The Great Migrant Misdirect. The link is in the description below. Also, if you touch that little eye in the circle at the top right of your screen, you can go directly to that video from this video. They want chaos. It serves their purpose. And again, if you think there is a single independent mind at work in the mainstream media, then you have been deceived. There is no independent mainstream media. They are all working together for a common goal. If you don't see that yet, then for your own sake, at least be open to the possibility that those people on your side who live in palaces and make more money than you can possibly imagine might not be as inclined to look out for your well-being as you have been led to believe. At least be open to the possibility. Either knowingly or unknowingly, they are working in a global system that is designed to generate chaos. And if you don't see that yet, then you're spending too much time consuming the news and not enough time thinking through and analyzing what you are being told, and even more, digging in for yourself and asking the tough questions. I have dug in, and I have asked the tough questions, and that is why I have concluded for myself that they want chaos. As to the why, we will circle back to that in a moment. Meanwhile, back on the news front, CNN is joining the United Nations in prognosticating the inescapable end of the world as we know it. With cheery topics like that, it just doesn't make any sense that their ratings continue to tank. Reading from the story, according to a United Nations report released Tuesday, however, projected emissions of carbon dioxide, the primary greenhouse gas, from the nations around the world fell woefully short of the 2 degrees Celsius goal set in the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015. The reality is, no matter what side you might fall upon in the climate debate, the one thing obvious is this. They make up their science out of whole cloth. They craft the data to say what they want it to say. When caught, they proclaim they were lying for a good cause, saving the planet, and go right back to making up more science or finding more science to shore up their position. All the while, they ignore the real issue of corporate and governmental climate weather modification on a global scale. I said they ignore, but they don't really. What they do is far worse. They use the outcome of these man-made manipulations as the prima facie evidence that we had better all get on board with their climate agenda. You see, they want crisis. They want it writ large. They will use it to convince us that these catastrophes are the proof that a climactic catastrophe of biblical proportions is about to befall us all. Crisis and chaos. They fuel the demagogic fires that eventually lead the masses, the herd, to run to their masters and beg for any solution that might save them from the peril of a populace and planet gone mad and teetering on the brink of destruction. Oh, please have mercy. Whatever solution you deem best, we will humbly accept, whatever the cost. The news of the day is rarely, if ever, about the news of the day. It is about a larger agenda, and you and I, slowly but surely, being pounded into intellectual and emotional submission that we might accept in the end whatever is for the greater good. Crisis and chaos. They are the well-considered and crafted ingredients in the news cocktail of the day. Why? What is the end game? Our consuming that cocktail has to serve some goal, advance an agenda. Welcome the Hegelian dialectic. Most of you had better sense than to study philosophy in college. That's probably a good thing. There is something, though, you would do well to be aware of. That cheery-looking fellow over on the left, that's Hegel, George Hegel. A concept that he set forth is very much at play in our world today. The elites view it with religious fervor. They have taken it and repurposed it. It is the Hegelian dialectic. We have A and we have B. We can refer to them as thesis and antithesis. They are on opposite ends of the spectrum, whatever that spectrum might be. And so, when the two come into contact with each other, there is conflict. The two pound against each other, and through that process, we end up with something new. We end up with synthesis. Key to all this, when the conflict and clashing of thesis and antithesis runs its course and we are ready at last for resolution, synthesis, to whom do we go? Who will guide us to the truth in this much-needed journey of enlightenment? Well, thank goodness we have our wise and benevolent members of the High Council of Global Peace to provide the solution. Learn to see through their narrative. See it for what it is. The admixture of crisis and chaos that goes into the news cocktail of the day is part of something much larger. They have a plan to reshape your world. It is well thought out. They are hard at work as they hide their diabolical scheme. They hide it in plain sight. Never forget who pays for and therefore controls this well-orchestrated info deception. 5 companies control it all. And those 5 companies that control all the media, they are of one mind. We would be remiss not to point out how this plays out in the arena of faith. The Prince of Darkness is behind all the machinations of the New World Order. He has no intention of leaving your Christian faith intact. One small example. Through the incessant pounding of the press and the government, the church has been cowed into keeping silent on issues of human sexuality. I could give other examples as well, There are many issues with which we could illustrate this point. The end result, the synthesis, if you will, is something different than what it was. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And that produces this, a word of God watered down and shackled and far more malleable and easily formed into this, whatever the new age future of the church might be that our masters on high envision for us, an acceptable Christianity, far more palatable. Wake up. Wake up. Learn their game. Train yourself to spot it. Decode their deception and benefit from the one piece of wisdom that Roger Daughtry and Pete Townsend and the Who imparted. We won't get fooled again. That concludes our broadcast for today. We invite you to visit our webpage. We don't want to let the social media technocrats keep us apart. YouTube can shut us down at any time. We have a plan to keep in touch. We need your email address to make that work. We promise we will not email you for any other purpose. In order to make this broadcast work, we need your support. You can go to our support page on our website, or you can use the links below to either Patreon or PayPal. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give us a like, and if you like it, please consider sharing this video with someone else. We would love it if you would subscribe, and if you subscribe, make sure and click that bell so that you're notified when we put out new videos. We love to hear from you, so down below in the comments section, let us know what you think. This is Matthias 76. Together, we are decoding the deception. God bless and have a great day.